Shalom everyone, I'm going to continue the series of the famous Oriental Rabbanim, and here the 12th of Ellul is going to be the Hillula of Rabbi Menachem Menashe, very great rabbi that was actually born in Turkey back in the English year 1892, and he passed away September 5th 1968. So we're talking about 55 years since his passing, his Hillula. He was born in Turkey, actually in Bulgaria, towards that border, in a town called Kayik. And his father was Chacham Yaakov Menashe, and his mother was Rabbanit Sultana. And at a young age, he was around 10 years old, his father had passed away, and he learned, he started studying in Istanbul, and he was friends with the great Rabbanim and great students. He was a student of Rabbi Yitzchak Akrish, who was actually the author of the book, the Kiryat Arba, and with Rabbi Shlomo Eliezer Alfandari, another also famous Turkish rabbi. He had to also, while he was studying Torah, he had to work within different jobs constantly, also within regards to finding a parnasa and everything else. And at a young age, he was about 18 years old, he married his Rabbanit, which was Esther Harez, who was actually a daughter of very famous philanthropist of the family from the area in Turkey called Adrian Paul. And at the age of 20, he was actually drafted into the First World War and participated in it into the army of the Ottoman Empire at that time. I don't know how long specifically he was there, but we know that in the year later on, when he was around 25 years old, he emigrated to Israel and with his wife and his son. And it's actually interesting. A wagon actually took them to the border of Lebanon, and they settled in Mea Sharim neighborhood, in the Beit Yisrael neighborhood in Jerusalem, where there's a huge, flourishing Torah community over there. While he was in Yerushalayim, living there at the time, he connected with a famous Kabbalist, Rabbi Yitzchak Alfia, who I believe it's his Hillula, also in Ellul. I did a video on him also, another great rabbi. And it's actually very interesting. He became a student also of Rabbi Yehuda Fataya, also at a later stage when he came to Yerushalayim, also another very famous rabbi. Once again, it was his Hillula. He worked in, I think, the blacksmith industry, but at the same time, he was devoting himself to the community and teaching and the praying and everything else. He opened a Torah learning and the prayer center called the Hebrat Ahavat Chayim. And in addition to establishing the Talmud Torah, and he did many different Torah classes which are held in the center. It's actually interesting. He also dealt in a lot of charity organizations he was helping with, and doing a lot of Gemilot Chasadim, different organizations, and helped so many people. Actually interesting also, from time to time, he organized pilgrimage to the Kivrei Tzadikim, also at different stages of time in the Galil. He rented vehicles and everything else to bring people, many different people, to do tefillot and prayers on behalf of the nation of Israel. And it's actually interesting, after the Medinat Yisrael was formed in 1948, the number of immigrants naturally obviously increased by a huge amount, and he hired different children teachers, Torah children teachers, at his own expense, it's reported, away, in order to teach them Torah and keep the Jewish heritage and the Torah heritage also, which was interesting. He also made sure that they were properly fed, and the studies were free if people couldn't afford it. So many people got a Torah education thanks to Rabbi Menachem Menashe, and he passed away on 12th of Ellul back in the year 1968. So we're talking about 55 years ago, as I have stated before. Much more can be said about him. He wrote different colossal works also. I'll name a few of them. For example, there was I give a few of his colossal works as an example, including the Ahavat Chayim, which was drashot, Agadot, and מעשיות, different compositions of halacha, also of his Seder Parshiat Shvuah. This was, I believe, composed and printed in the year 1936 in Yerushalayim. There was obviously, it came in two chalakim, two different sections, the Chelek Aleph and Chelek Bet also. And there was also the Likutei Menashe, also another famous book, dealing in halacha and musar, which was within regards to the order of the Orach Chaim. And that was, I believe, published in the year 1937 also. So he also was a composer, was a student of Rabbi Yehuda Fataya. Much can be said about him. One of the great rabbis that came to Israel at an early stage. Another one of the elite Turkish rabbis also. I've spoken about Rav Avram Pelaji, Rav Chaim Pelaji, and many other Turkish rabbis also. So this very much is part of that huge embodiment of the great Turkish Rabbanim, Torah scholars of the previous few hundred years. So it is Hillula, 12th of Ellul, of Rabbi Menachem Menashe. Guys, please watch the other videos also, and maybe light candles also on this specific date. And I'm wishing you all a Shabbat Tov, because I'm just relating this video after Shabbat, Parashat Ki Tetzeh in Israel. Take care and have a great day.